Hello, I'm Dr. Stephen Andrew Missick. I'm running for Texas State Legislature in HD 18 against Ernest Bales. And I want to talk about Colony Ridge, or what is also known as Terrenos Houston, in this episode of my campaign videos. So several years ago, of course, I'm a pastor. I was started off as a assistant or co-pastor with my father at King of Saints Church. And he was very involved in the local ministerial alliance. So just working with the community, you hear stories about Colony Ridge and Trey Harris and what's going on in Plum Grove outside of Splendora. And we've done ministry out there, and I've preached in Plum Grove a lot. And what was going on is this unscrupulous land developer was he's moving in illegal aliens into this lot of land, and he's exploiting these people. And when he began this, they're living in, actually, one of the things they were doing at first was just running clotheslines and, just camping out under, bed sheets out in the woods. People are curious about what's going on, seeing all this strange activity, and you'd have people come out with trucks and guns, and obviously Mexican drug cartel people threatening. So there's a lot of prostitution was going on there, overt human trafficking. Just people living in squalor and shanty towns that are being thrown together. So the local community is very concerned about what was going on in Plum Grove, and this has been 5 years ago. So as I was saying, people were disturbed. It's like, what's going on? Children are being exploited, women are being sexually trafficked. We have this obvious Mexican gang activity, cartel activity. And so then we had a ministerial alliance meeting, and I went to. It's like a little breakfast, and Ernest Bales showed up, and he's like, "This is our new state legislature, Ernest Bales." And it's like, "Well, who is this guy?" Nobody really knew, except he invented a machine to collect semen samples from livestock for livestock breeding. He electrocutes them, and then they give an emission. Let's put it that way. So that's kind of weird, but let's listen to what this guy has to say. So he gets up and says, "I know you guys are, a lot of you are heard about what's going on in Plum Grove. You're very concerned about it, but I don't want you to be worried about it because I'm working in Austin with Trey Harris, and we're going to make it legal." And they did some community engagement with one of the local pastors of the larger churches. And I don't know why he bought it, but this guy bought it hook, line, and sinker. It's like, "Oh, don't worry, this is going to be good for our community. It's going to be good for our community." This is one of the pastors' largest Baptist churches advocating for this. And he says, "Yes, we're going to have a sudden growth of population here, but within 5 or 10 years, it's going to be okay. This is good for our community. Don't worry about it. We're not going to have any trouble or problems." Well, what's going on now? It's horrible. There's 75,000 plus illegal aliens there, and it's spilling over. I've talked to people. You go there at night. I've been there to see what's going on, but I haven't been at night. But there's prostitutes, women being sexually trafficked, lined up at the streets at night. And we had a man running around through the community. I was in the area that evening when I was in danger by this Mexican drug cartel, an assassin who was going around execution style, killing men, women, and children. And someone was sheltering him after he was running around the community. The police were looking for him. Finally got him. It's like 3 weeks later. But it's horrible what's happening to our community. Pollution, environmental damage, just the traffic, and also the burden of, there's a bad Supreme Court decision several years ago, where if foreign nationals are here, legally or illegally, we have to foot the bill for all their expenses. So we have this small rural community, and we have to educate. And that's what's going on with Ernest Bales. He's working with Trey Harris, and the thing is, it's been frustrating. It's been very frustrating trying to get the word out. It's like, listen, look what's happening to our community. And finally, I think it's Todd Benson did an article talking about how this is the largest hub, the fastest growing, one of the largest hubs in this country of human, drug, sex, and child trafficking in the United States. And it's expected to grow exponentially. And Colony Ridge, which is also called Terrenos Houston, is going to consume our entire House district, all of our counties. So Liberty County, San Jacinto County, and then eventually Hardin County as well is going to become a big, what it is now. It's a sanctuary. This district under Ernest Bales is a sanctuary district for illegal aliens, and it's going to be, he's given it to them. He's doing it because he's making money off of it. It's so what had happened earlier, it's amazing. The local community, they're so desperate for help, and all of our cries for help are falling on deaf ears because the Harris family, apparently that's one of the largest, wealthiest, most influential families in this area. The Harris, the notorious Harris family, Trey Harris and John Harris, and these people. I think they had different people, but Wayne Dolcefino did 2 programs, and his investigative reporting, of course, implicates Ernest Bales. As I said, I heard it myself at this ministerial alliance meeting where he's saying, I'm standing with Trey Harris. Basically, he's saying that he's Trey Harris's wingman in Austin protecting Colony Ridge, Terrenos Houston. He's working to protect that in Austin. So Wayne Dolcefino did some reports. I think Todd Benson did another report. But like I said, it's like we're not getting much traction. I would send messages to Michael Berry. He wouldn't say anything about it. And it's like, wow, this is something that really big that's affecting Michael Berry's listening audience, and he won't say a word about it. Is it him? Is he afraid of the Harris family? Is it the network is afraid of the Harris family? Is he friends with Trey Harris? What's going on? Why isn't Michael Berry speaking out? Doesn't he have our back? I mean, Michael Berry used to be more of a libertarian than a conservative, but he was a never Trumper at first. But when he saw the results of Trump's presidency, he decided this is the Trump's presidency. I mean, what Michael Berry realized is like I talk about these issues on my radio program, and what concerns our country, and Michael Berry's looking at us. Here's the issues I'm concerned about. Trump is actually doing things that I agree with. So he finally decided that not that he's a Trump supporter like a Trumpster, but he's realizing it's like this man has been good for the country. He's implementing the agenda I agree with. There are things he doesn't like about it. He doesn't like his style and things like that. But Michael Berry's come around. So probably since the second year of the Trump presidency, Michael Berry's been excellent. And best. He's becoming like one of the best conservative radio talk show hosts in the country. Maybe his program's too long. He talks about a lot of folksy stuff like that. There's, why does everything have to be serious sometimes? I think there's room for, trivia about music, country music, rock and roll music from the 80s and stuff like that. But on the other hand, it's like, man, our country's being systematically destroyed. We need to be very serious, and we need to be engaged and organized and active. So Michael Berry finally is addressing the Colony Ridge, Terrenos Houston issue. That's what you're on the highway, they have all these signs all over the place, Terrenos Houston. And so what they did is, apparently, Harris worked with the Mexican drug cartels. That's what it looks like. That's what people are saying. That's how it's being reported. But they advertise in Mexico. If you come across the border, where you need to go is Colony Ridge. And the other thing is, if you're in Splendora used to be a nice community. And there's the road going from Plum Grove to Highway 59, and it's sad. It's like if you go that way, you can expect to be sitting in that a mile long road for 45 minutes because it's so clogged because of the what is Ernest Bales. This is demographic change. Demographic change is how he calls it. Now, I ran against Bales in 2022, and he's also a minion of the far left-wing radical extremist groups known as the Teachers Associations and Teachers Unions, and that's where he gets a lot of his votes from. And he's in we had this, what was it called, Raise Your Hand Texas, and I was debating him, and he's like he's saying, this is great, you need to vote for me because we have the largest school district, the fastest growing school district in the country. He's celebrating it. What does that mean for Ernest Bales to have this huge surge in population of illegal migrants? As a wealthy man, wealthy off of his bizarre contraption he created, living, he's a large landowner, living in his gated estate, far removed from the problems and troubles that his constituents face. For him, this is a great thing to have cartel and illegal activity and a huge influx of population because his family is involved in education, and that means building more schools and getting contracts and getting his cut out of it. So finally, so what's happened? Why are people talking about Colony Ridge right now? I think it's the Daily Wire. Finally, somebody wrote a story about what's going on. I think the Todd Benson story didn't get a lot of traction for whatever reason, but I think it was the Daily Wire that did a story about it. So now you go online, and at first it's just like 3 articles, all you could find, and the community screaming for help. The actual people affected by it, the 2 Wayne Deltrafino videos, and very, very little. And these people are so desperate, and no one would listen to them. But now the story's been picked up, and it's a national story, and there's dozens of articles dealing with it. And of course, all of them are going to implicate Ernest Bales. And I went to a campaign event. Well, it's actually the meeting of the Republican Party in San Jacinto County, and I was there, and Morgan Luttrell was there, and the local people, they gave him an earful about it. It's like, look, we're very disturbed about what's going on in Colony Ridge and Liberty. It's spilling over to San Jacinto County. We're in danger. Our whole way of life is going to be destroyed. Ernest Bales doesn't give a damn about it. All he cares about is how much cash he can pocket from it. And so they're upset. And then it's interesting. Morgan Luttrell says, "Well, I flew a helicopter over. It's horrible. If you go through there, it's like I've done missionary work in Africa. I'm not talking about, I've been to India, I've been to Africa, I've been to Egypt, the Middle East. I love these cultures and these communities. I love engaging them. But they're poor and desperate, and they have problems. And you're there in those countries, you can see it. I feel for these people. But these countries are I think even Uganda is developing. But what we have in Plum Grove is it's a third world shanty town developing in Plum Grove. That's what it is. I've driven over there several times to see it for myself. Everything they say about the drainage issues, about the pollution, about the garbage all over the place, the environmental damage, traffic problems, the burden of all these. Every time you turn around, they need another $15 million school bond that we have to pay for. They're not held accountable for anything, and we have to foot the bill. And this is a hub of illegal activity, and Ernest Bales helped create it. So these new reports, like I said, they're implicating Ernest Bales. Are looking at his donors, and it's like the people who are doing the construction and we're clearing the forest. Those people are they're his donors. They're donating. Why are the developers donating to Ernest Bales? Because he's their wingman. He helped them create Colony Ridge. All the construction companies, land clearing companies, and the Harris family, they're giving him thousands upon thousands of dollars. That's recorded, and probably even more than that. That's off the books. So the problem, I think the word's getting out, and people need to know. I think people do know. I was at the Ministerial Alliance, and Ernest Bales is very public with his support for Trey Harris and Colony Ridge. He's open about it to us. It might change now. And then, when I was debating him at the Raise Your Hand Texas, he's like proudly, and he knows what's going on. He knows what's going on. He proudly gets up and says, yes, because of, his actions. We have the largest, fastest growing school district in the nation. He knows why. He just talked about it recently. They had this town hall meeting. He showed up and left real quick. Probably because he didn't want to take questions. So he stands up, and I'm Ernest Bales. We have a special session. Yeah, you got a special session coming up because you voted to impeach Kim Paxton. That's another thing that's been going on in the state of Texas. And Kim Paxton survived impeachment, so things have come out that people need to know about, and nobody knew. So what happens is the Democrats in Austin, the State House, they vote as a block. And if you want to become the Speaker of the House, all you have to do is vote. A Democrat votes on a Republican ticket, like Dave Phelan. He meets with a Democrat and says, okay, you vote for me, and all I have to do is peel off a dozen or so rhinos, Republicans name only, other Democrats who run on the Republican ticket, and then he's the Speaker of the House. That's been going on for a while. So basically the Democrats control the Speaker of the House. They control the Texas State House. But this attempt to take out Kim Paxton, who's a conservative champion, it backfired. And Dave Phelan's exposed. He was also he was on he's actually officiating in his official role as Speaker of the House, and he was drunk or on drugs or having a negative response to medication. Or he was high. We don't know what was going on. Something was, or some people saying he's having an aneurysm or a stroke, but he's not well. It's like, okay, see, this guy's either he's inebriated or he has some kind of neurological disorder. Something was going on. Either way, he should not be functioning as Speaker of the House. But the number one reason why he shouldn't be functioning as Speaker of the House is he's not a Republican. He's a far left liberal. And all this, it turns out that all this impeaching of Ken Paxton was done at the behest of the Biden administration, because he's been the most effective Speaker of the House, or one of the most. There's a lawsuit going on with, I think, Missouri and Louisiana about the Biden administration doing online censorship. The FBI is targeting conservative content on social media to remove, and that's Missouri, I believe, and Louisiana that's been doing that, and that's wonderful. What they've been able to expose our politicized, weaponized Democrat Party affiliated FBI, the Goon Squad of the Democratic Party, they're Stasi. So they've been exposed, but hats off and kudos to Louisiana and Missouri. But Ken Paxton has been very, very effective dealing with election fraud issues and taking on the Biden administration and winning. So the Biden administration wanted Ken Paxton taken out of action. Even though they lost, they were given a reprieve for June, July, August, September, 4 months, because in Texas, even if these baseless accusations are made, you're being impeached, you're not able to, you have to leave office for that time. So he's back, and hopefully he'll come back with a vengeance. But the good thing is, now we know what's going on, and hopefully the grassroots Republican people, voters will come up and be engaged. And Ernest Bell's very vulnerable now because of what he's done, affiliating himself with left-wing Democrats in the House. He's got a bad voting record, and supporting Colony Ridge, which is, like I said, I heard him say it myself. I've seen the reports by Wayne Dolcefino. You can watch that. But now, he is involved. He has been involved. So any investigative reporter looking into Colony Ridge is going to find Ernest Bell's involvement. So what is he going to do? What is he going to do? He's going to hopefully, he's trying to hope that people are not engaged or informed. So on Facebook, every day there's a poster that's coming out with Ernest Bell's. It's like, I voted for the highest, or the biggest reduction of property taxes in Texas history, which is baloney. They're not addressing the property tax issue, not effectively. And I went to this presentation by Texans for Fiscal Responsibility, and he just shows this is a big sham. They exposed it, and it's like, okay, I want to be a patriotic Texan and pay my taxes, but when you realize that this is exploitative, oppressive taxation, and that they're lying to you, they're cheating you, it's not fair, it's confiscatory taxation, they're not interested in giving us a reprieve or reasonable tax rates, then we realize, and they don't even need the tax. There's other ways they can fund government besides property taxes. We don't need property tax, we don't need a state income tax, they have the money. This is it. And basically, people say this, and it's true. In Texas, you don't even own your property. The state owns your property, and you have to pay the rent and property taxes. And property taxes in Texas need to be abolished. So, Ernest Bales. The problem, though, is, like I said, there are people that aren't engaged, and he's hoping for that. He's going to put his name out there in his picture. He's going to say that they're both lies. Oh, I voted to reduce your property taxes. I'm still paying quite a bit. It's cleaning me out. It's terrible. It's my father's property that we need to execute. It's the estate I've inherited. We have to deal with it, and it's a burden. It's a burden to pay the property taxes. So property taxes. They said he voted for border security. They're not tackling. You just look around you. They're not tackling the border security issue. This is open borders. Bales. He's opposed and obstructed border security issues. He's for open borders. He's against the wall, and he's supporting a human trafficking, the largest human trafficking hub in the country, and he's been behind it. So he supports and is involved in and participates in and encourages illegal immigration. So both these things he's saying are lies. He's lying. And it's like, I'm looking at this picture, it's like, who puts this out? And it's some rhino organizations. I mean, half the money this organization says, like the Republicans of Texas Association. You look them up and you find out that half of their money goes to support. They support rhino Republicans, left-wing Republicans, and half of their money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, goes in support of Democrat candidates. So this is not, I mean, they're basically, it's a Democrat organization. So Ernest Bells is vulnerable, and if you're out there and you're concerned about Colony Ridge, we have to vote. The only way we can stop it is to get a real Republican majority in that Texas State House. I mean, real Republicans, not these rhinos. And we got to get Dave Fellon out, and we have to get Ernest Bales out, because Ernest Bales, he's been doing it for years. He's protecting Colony Ridge in Austin. And you're listening to these people. It's like Morgan Luttrell. Or Morgan Luttrell's like, I saw what's going on. Yeah, it's horrible. I know you're concerned. But that's not my congressional district. But however, I'm going to go to the governor. I'm going to express your concerns to him. The issue is that the Trey Harris family also gives donations, campaign donations to Governor Abbott, but probably trying to curry favor with him and protect this endeavor. I do realize Governor Abbott's a better choice than Beto, and he has done some good things, but that's not good. And people wonder, just look what Tucker Carlson says. Tucker Carlson's approached Governor Abbott several times. It's like, why don't you declare an invasion and secure the border? And he waffles and, says he can't do it yet. He claims he's done it, but he hasn't done it formally. Because if you can declare an invasion, that means our National Guard soldiers can send illegal aliens back. We can secure our border and protect it from invasion as we're being invaded. And this is horrible. Carrie Lake was going to do it. They knew it, so they stole the election from her in Arizona. Here in Texas, he's done some things, but we need more done. We don't have much time. We can't survive. No nation can survive 15, 20 million people invading a country in less than 4 years. And that's, if 250,000 are coming every month, then it's not just 4 million, 5 million, or 6 million like they're saying. It's much more than that. And another good thing about this, busting them to left-wing sanctuary cities obviously is a great idea, because that's souring these people on illegal immigration. If it's a problem that they don't have to bear the burden of the way Texas does, then they see that this is not good for their community. And these people are not, most of them, 99.9% of them are not, they don't have a genuine asylum or refugee requests. This is fraud. And every one of these illegal aliens is paying the Mexican drug cartel $10,000 a head to get across the border. Every woman is being raped repeatedly. Fentanyl is coming across the border, killing 100,000 American children, kids, teenagers, young adults every year. And it's amazing that we see this death and destruction and desolation. And the sock puppet, Joe Biden, Obama's sock puppet, Obama's running the country. Everybody knows it. People are saying it openly. Ted Cruz is saying it. A lot of people are saying it. That obviously Obama's in control of the country. Not this man. He can't even walk across the stage. He can't speak coherently, and he admits it. Like, they told me to do this. They told me I can't do that. If I do this or the other, I'll be in trouble. Who are they? Obama's people. How could this happen to our great country? And here we have Ernest Bales working with the Biden administration to hurt Texas. So what's the problem, the challenge? We have to let people know, they should know, Ernest Bales' left-wing voting record. Of course, he's putting money in lying to people. He's hoping for name recognition. He's hoping people are disengaged and they see his name and they see this poster saying he voted for border security, which he hasn't voted for enough border security issues. He voted for this fake, kick the can down, reduce your property taxes that you're still. If you're paying him, that the issue's not being addressed. So he's lying to the voters, putting his name out there, hoping for name recognition to get him in there. But people know, the reports are out there. It's a national story, and he's exposed for what he did. He's exposed for voting to impeach Kim Paxton. He's exposed for Colony Ridge. He's been exposed for his pro-abortion activity in his first term in office, and all of his, supported Dave Phelan and everything that the Democrats and the Rhinos are doing in the state house. He's a bad state legislature. But he went to school in Shepherd, and there's people that know him. He's got like a cult. So it's like a sick cult. And he's got his cult followers in Shepherd and Cold Spring. And some, I think it's because he's got his gravy train going on in Cleveland, but there's people in Cleveland that are sold out to him. But when in Liberty County, they hate Bales. And in Hardin County, they're not interested in it at all. East Montgomery County, Splendora. He has he's got financing, he's got a network, and he's got some organization. But he's more vulnerable now than he's ever been. The story's out, it's being talked about. Kim Paxton's talking about it, Lieutenant Governor's talking about it, Tucker Carlson's talking about it, about what Bales is doing to our community. It's become a national story, and I campaigned on it last time. I'm going to campaign on it more against, because he needs to be held accountable for what he did. And so when Michael Berry and Ken Paxton and Dan Patrick and Morgan Luttrell, when they're talking about what can we do to stop, what do we do to stop Colony Ridge, Terrenos Houston? And the issue is it's a private development, but they can introduce legislation that can close it down. And Dan Patrick said he has a group of lawyers working on it right now. They might be able to bring up the issue in a special session that's coming up with the Texas State House. But he says, I hope we can do it then, but we might not have enough time. It might have to be taken up by the next legislative sessions. I will do everything I can to stop Colony Ridge, Terrenos Houston. I want to close it down. And, I don't support illegal immigration, but these are human beings, and they're being exploited. And I have a friend of mine, she's Hispanic, and she went and asked questions and talked to people. And she's like, yes, there is cartel activity over there. This is corrupt business practices. She's afraid. I don't know what you're going to, it's like, she's afraid. It's like, if you go out and campaign against this, Ernest Bales and these people could send someone to assassinate you. They're making money off of this. But, what are they going to do? Are they going to assassinate Dan Patrick and Michael Berry and Ken Paxton and, Tucker Carlson? All these people which are organizing to expose and to confront the issue of Terrenos Houston. And what does that say? It's like, if you address this issue, I'm afraid for you that these people are so bad and corrupt they could try to murder you. I just don't see that happening. Not at this point anyway. But that's what this person was very genuinely concerned. She went and talked to people over there, and like I said, they feel like they're exploited. These undocumented illegal aliens and migrants at this community. So can you imagine 75,000, and it's growing exponentially. And I think we also need to do a criminal investigation. I think it was County Judge Jay Knight, I think his name. You can watch the video with Wayne Dolcefino, and it's like you look at these people and say, what are they doing? They're bought off. And we have to have clean government that's accountable to people. And what happens in our, this is, people have grown up here. And I'm doing this campaign work, and as I mentioned, churches are closing down because people are moving out because it's not safe. It's not safe. You got people running around murdering women and children, execution style. That's not the community you can live in. And maybe Bales doesn't have any problem with that type of community because he's getting his money off of it. But and then people lived here for generations. It's like, I have to leave. I can't stay in this district with what Ernest Bales has done to it. And it's amazing. You got all this opposition, and somehow he manages to win all these elections. Makes me wonder. But he's vulnerable now, and it's time for us to organize, to get involved, and remove him from office so that we can protect our community and stop crime and exploitation and cartel activity. We don't need it in our community. We don't even need it in our nation. And so that's why I ask, if you're concerned about Colony Ridge, Terrenos Houston, vote for me. And there's all kinds of information now that we have on it because it's now a national story. Daily Wire has picked it up, and people know. And that means that's why Ernest Bales is buying ads, so he can hope that people don't know what's going on, because he knows he's in trouble. He's in trouble, and we need to vote this man out of office. We have to, for the sake of our community, for the sake of our children, for the sake of the state of Texas, because this is all part of also part of a plan that Ernest Bales is involved in to flip Texas blue. When I was at this campaign event, or actually the Republican of San Jacinto meeting, and I was talking to some people, they're saying, it's like, I'm from this community, and Ernest Bales was known to have been a Democrat until he decided to run for office. So what's going to happen is he was a Democrat. He ran the Republican as a Democrat in the Republican ticket, and he lied. He says, "Well, I'm a pro-life fiscal conservative." What's fiscal conservative? I mean, he's not a fiscal conservative, but I'm a social conservative. I believe in biblical Christian values. I mean, if he's a conservative, why is he supporting these left-wing CRT teaching teachers unions? So Bell started out as a Democrat. He is a Democrat, but he runs as a Republican, ticket. And if he remains in office, once the demographics, as he puts it, in this community change the way he wants it to, and he flips Texas blue, flips this district blue, then he's going to return, or he's going to be more overt about his actual political leanings, and come out that, I was a Democrat the whole time. I fooled you. Thanks for your vote. Look what I did to our district. Woo! Turned it to gave it over to the Mexican drug cartels. I turned it to a sanctuary district. Oh, I ran everybody out and turned it into a third world shantytown. Woo! Well, I made money. Both schools got my cut. It's sad. It's sad. Somehow he I don't know. He ingratiates himself with certain people, but we need change. We desperately need it. This is about the survival of our country, the survival of our state, the survival of our county. We need to frustrate his plans to give our district to the Mexican drug cartels and to flip our district and our state blue. Obviously, this man has no morals whatsoever. It's all about self-serving and lining his own pocket. And we need to hold Ernest Bales accountable for what he did, and get him out of office. Let him go back to livestock breeding, and stop destroying our community and running people, families that have been here in this area for generations. And also, we need to shut down the cartel activity here, and get these. Like I said, if there's criminal wrongdoing, we need to have investigations, and then we need to have indictments, and then we need to have court proceedings and prosecutions of everybody that was involved in this illegal, exploitative fiasco of Colony Ridge Terrenos Houston. And this is an awful thing that happened in our community, but I believe that we can overcome and have the needed change we need, so that this community can be prosperous and safe and a good community, as it has been for our citizens. So please vote. Vote early. Don't wait till March 5th. That's the primary. Vote early, and encourage other people to vote, and let people know if you see a story implicating Ernest Bales and his involvement with Colony Ridge Terrenos Houston. Tell people, say, look, this is what this guy has done. If you don't want this going on in your community, we have to vote this guy out of office, because Dr. Missick will support legislation that's going to be proposed. It's going to be proposed to stop Terrenos, Houston, Colony Ridge, and the damage they're doing to our community and our state. So thank you, and God bless you.